The Los Angeles Chargers had their 5th practice of the 2026 NFL season and of training camp. What did it look like? I've got 5 major takeaways that we're going to get into on today's program. I should let you know, though, Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. Sign up for Prize Picks with code HMA and get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. It feels like at this point in the program, in the show, we're just going to have to call this segment Left Guard Updates, Fat Guy Chats. I don't know, because at some point, we're going to be talking every single day about where the left guard competition is currently sitting. We've been talking about Kayode Awosika. We've been talking about Trevor Penning. We've been talking about Jake Slaughter, Pipkins, Taylor. Everyone and their mother apparently gets a shot at this left guard spot. So, who got the run today? Who was the 2 guys who were working with that first group? Who were the guys that were holding down that left guard spot in this competition? I'll let you know after you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 6,000 subscribers. What are you going to get if you subscribe to the channel? Well, it's pretty simple. You're going to get the latest news, rumors, and updates on the Los Angeles Chargers. Here's the cool thing. If you're a new subscriber and we're not subscribed to the channel in January, we do a thing called watch parties when the Los Angeles Chargers play games. We're going to be live. We're going to be breaking down every single play. You're going to talk with me and producer Tom, and we're going to start our first watch party next Thursday for the very first preseason game for these Los Angeles Chargers. So subscribe to the channel, come hang out with us, and the rest of the Chargers faithful while we break down every single game. ESPN's Chris Rim was at practice, and he broke down that starting group that was going out there for Justin Herbert. Obviously, every position except for that left guard stayed pretty stagnant. Slater, Biotish, Strange, and Alt all holding down their positions. But it is clear that Kayode Awosika was back with the one crew. And then, hey, guess what? Jake Slaughter was rotating in there as well. Now, why is this important to kind of note? Because, well, these are the guys who took over that spot on the first day of practice before pads. Now, Tyler Schoen does a fantastic job of covering the Chargers. He broke down who has been running in that left guard spot through the first 4 practices. It was all, of course, Kayode Awosika and Slaughter and Penning in some sort of rotation. Then Trey Pipkins got all of one day. Jim Harbaugh even called him one of the best offensive linemen on the Chargers team. He talked about him being one of the 5 best offensive linemen for the Chargers team. Branson Taylor threw his hat in the ring on day 4, and then we're back to Awosika and Slaughter. So the question is, are the Chargers just now going through a rotation, a.k.a., hey, you were a part of the first group on this day, you're a part of the first group on this day, and then you'll be a part of the first group on this day? Or is it a legit rotation of Kayode Awosika and Jake Slaughter? They were the best 2 guys on day 4, so they get an opportunity here. At this point, we know that there is going to be a major rotation through a bunch of different guys, and it feels like it's a very easy competition to decipher so far. The Chargers are going to give everyone an opportunity, and then the question is going to be, who ends up taking over? Who ends up looking the best? Right now, I think we're kind of open to interpretation. Next, let's talk about Justin Herbert, because he had another solid practice for these Los Angeles Chargers, and that, of course, is always going to be a good thing. Now, when you look at Justin Herbert's entire career, it's important to realize that Herbert has been solid. He has been someone who has been one of the better quarterbacks through his time in the National Football League. But what I find interesting about Justin Herbert is that each year there's not a linear progression forward. Now, some of that has to do with the team that he was playing for, the offensive game plan, and it also had to do with injuries for him and for those around him. Last year, I was very impressed with what he was able to do and help kind of basically carry this team to the postseason. When Mike McDaniels took the job and it became clear that Mike McDaniel was going to be the new offensive coordinator for the Chargers, there was a lot of hope that he could help eliminate some of the big issues for him. And it certainly feels like those issues are no longer there. We'll talk about the day that Justin Herbert had because I think it expands upon that point. But first, I need to let you know that today's show is made possible by SeatGeek. When it's time to get out of the house, there's not many better options right now than a ball game. With SeatGeek being MLB's official ticket marketplace, your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled in your account after purchase. Now, I got some family that are down in Los Angeles. We went on SeatGeek and we started looking at some potential Chargers tickets. We're looking at that first game against the Cardinals on opening day. You know me, I'm trying to get as close to the action as I possibly can while still finding the best deals possible. So I'm always looking for those green dots. Whether it's a Chargers game with a special lady friend or a co-Wetzel concert with the boys, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. So look for the green dots. Green means good. Red means bad. And of course, I have a code for you guys. Use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you so very much, SeatGeek. Justin Herbert made multiple big throws today, and I think that is important to mention when you're talking about what this offense is going to look like. Now, of course, some of this is set up for players to catch the football, specifically guys like Quentin Johnston, Ladd McConkey, Brenen Thompson certainly seems to be falling in this category as well, where they're catching the ball in space and then making guys miss. And then Herbert doesn't have to do too much. It's a simple flick of the wrist, 3-4 yards down the field, and then let the athlete be the athlete. But every single day, I see a new film, I see a new thing where we see Justin Herbert making throws 10, 20, 30, 40 yards downfield and finding open receivers or throwing them into a position where they get open themselves. And it's been very impressive. Now, we knew that Justin Herbert could do this. That's why he's a starting level quarterback in the National Football League and he's viewed so highly. But I think what is the most impressive thing to me is that it's always a new target. Brenen Thompson had a couple of big catches on days previous. We've talked about Ladd McConkey having big catches. Quentin Johnston, he probably had the big catch of the day, but he's also had other days where he's had big catches and been a big-time performer. What Justin Herbert is showing is that he's not focusing on just one wide receiver. He's not completely locked in. This isn't a situation where if one wide receiver goes down, the Chargers are in a really bad spot. Justin Herbert is showing just how talented he is. And in Mike McDaniel's offense, and this is going against the Chargers defense, by the way, that I should mention, has been performing very well, and people are very happy with what Chris O'Leary has been doing there on the defensive side of the football field. This is an offense with the Chargers that is showing they are going to be successful. Not can, they are going to be successful. The question is just how successful will this offense be? Are we going to talk about it as the best offense in the NFL? We're talking about it as a top 5 offense, top 8. I'm not so sure yet, but Justin Herbert looks the most comfortable he's ever looked. Will Justin Herbert be an all-pro this year? Go down below in our comment section and predict it. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let us know where you think he's going to be at when all is said and done. The rookies. Let's talk about a handful of them. Well, really just 2. So 2 fingers full of them. 2 guys had some very interesting quotes today that I frankly found very fun. I was excited to go and tap producer Tom on the shoulder and say, hey, dude, come check this out. This is a great quote here. Because Akheem Mesidor and Brenen Thompson, they're not shying away from the mic, but at the same time, they're not doing or saying anything that would upset you. Like, how many times do we see during camp, during the season, where a player will say something and the fans go, man, why'd you say that? What are you doing? When you look at what these 2 guys are saying, just fired me up and made me ready to run through a brick wall. Alex Insdorf, he ended up tweeting this quote out from Akheem Mesidor. Obviously, Chargers, first full padded practice is tomorrow. The question was, hey, man, where are you, Mesidor? What do you want to be with this team? And his quote is, I harp on violence. As someone who got to see him in person, first of all, yes, he does harp on violence. He absolutely took over that game at the Cotton Bowl. But what I think is more important about Akheem Mesidor is he practices what he preaches. You can see the success on the screen, but it's also clear that Mesidor is not someone who just goes out, thinks he can roll out, show up, and be awesome. He works his butt off. You can see it every single day. He's the first edge rusher, one of the first Chargers players, if not the first Chargers players, out on the field. He's been absolutely impressive to me because he's clearly someone who is going to work his tail off to be the best version of himself. He's been awesome, and I really love what this Chargers team is building towards. Let's talk about Brenen Thompson's quote next, because I think every man, and probably most women, can relate to this. Brenen Thompson's like, I really hate running. I'm just really good at it. That's an incredible quote because guess who also hates running? This guy. And I don't know any sane person other than the special lady friend who loves running. It's just a crazy thing to me. And I think it's very relatable that Brenen Thompson is like, yeah, I don't like doing this either. I'm just really fast. And because I'm really fast, I now make a lot of money. And I think that's awesome. So I'm going to continue to play this football thing. He's been fantastic throughout at camp as well. I need to make that very clear. Every single day I turn on Twitter and I see a highlight piece from him. He's done great in special teams as well, according to the special teams coach out there. Darius Davis has as well. That's important to kind of mention. But I look at Brenen Thompson, and I just think the world of this kid. I think the Chargers made a really smart decision when they went and drafted him. And I think he's going to be a big-time play threat for this team. Let's get into our other daily update, because at this point, if you tune into Chargers Now, you're going to hear something about left guard. You're probably going to hear something about Tuli Tuipulotu. Because at this point, his contract negotiations are just kind of the big story that everyone keeps hearing about. Now, Tuli is someone that has been very interesting in the fact that he's not making a big stink of things. He's not making a big fuss of anything. He's just holding in. He shows up every day to work, but he doesn't do anything extraordinary, doesn't do anything all that crazy. Now, Jim Harbaugh seems to think that they are close to a deal. I certainly hope so. I don't need to see Tuli during the preseason, but I would like him to be practicing sooner rather than later. I feel like when guys hold out too long, that's usually where a bad injury occurs. Not saying that that's what's going to happen. It's just something that I'd be paying attention to. We got more to discuss, but first, I need to let you know that today's show is also made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Let's take a look at my lineup for the football action this season. I have the more on Justin Herbert pass yards. I believe the offense will be much improved in LA, and that should hopefully lead to more passing yards for Herbert. That's why I have the more on his passing yards. I have the more on Quentin Johnston receiving TDs. I believe that Johnson will have more opportunities to catch the football with a hopefully improved offense in Los Angeles. That's why I have the more on his receiving TDs. I also have the more on Rashid Shaheed receiving yards. A full offseason in Seattle should help Shaheed build better chemistry with Darnold. That's why I have the more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Best of all, play your first $5 and get $150 in lineups if you win. Just use code HMA when you sign up. That's right. Prize Picks just switched up their offer, so there's no better time to join. Lock in and win that first lineup. That's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 plus lineup. Tomorrow's practice is going to be fully padded. Now, today's obviously was more of a shells. It was a fun situation, but I'm not going to sit here and say that at this point we know a ton about the Chargers. We know what we think we know. We know who's looked good. But unfortunately for a lot of these players, or fortunately, whatever your opinion is, you can't judge a football player until they've done it with the pads on, especially on the offensive line, especially at the running back position, and especially on the defensive side of the football. I need to know if you can hit. I need to know if you can get hit. I need to know if you can get rocked and get back up again. I need to know what this team is going to look like. Can they stay healthy? Can they get on the field with the majority of their starters intact in December, in January? What is this Chargers team going to look like? I need to see that iron sharpening iron. Akheem Mesidor, you're excited to go against Joe Alt and against Rashawn Slater? Show me what that looks like in one-on-ones. I need to see where this team is at before I'm ready to fully stamp of approval a lot of these situations. But I'm telling you right now, I'm excited to see what this team looks like, and we're going to get our first real glimpse at that tomorrow. So make sure that you're subscribed to our channel so you don't miss any of that type of content. We're breaking it down for you. We're football junkies. We get videos to you every single day that you do not want to miss. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. I cannot wait to see you next time. And as always, bolt the freak up.